The following thoughts on Hoppe Hour do not represent Cox Media Group or its sponsoring. Anything you hear may and will be used against you. Thank you. Vote for Hoppe Hour as best local podcast by the Creative Loafing Tampa. Spread the word.
Are you feeling classy today? Sit down, pour a glass of wine, and listen to Hoppe Hour.
You're tuned in to Hoppe Hour, an hour where Hoppe rants about something. Sit back and listen in. Hoppe Hour is on now. Hoppe Hour is on now.
What up? What is happening? This is Hoppe Hour. I am your host, Ryan Hoppe. And for the next hour, I will attempt to change the way you think for the next hour. My goal is to entertain you. Maybe you're driving around listening to my show in your aux cord. I want that car ride to go by fast. Or maybe you're bored at work and you're like, God, my boss is annoying me. I'm so sick of putting in those reports. I'm an accountant. Well, I hope my show cheers you up. And if you want to get in contact with me, since we don't have a phone line, it's not hard. It's not rocket science. Tweet at me at Ryan Hoppe Radio. But first, let's let this beat drop. Oh yeah, you know I have to do that. This beat, let's go to a rave. Actually, no, because this music is something you would hear like a middle school dance. Like I remember when I lived in Illinois, they had these dances at all the local high schools. It was called Club Sky, and it was basically teens age 15 to 17, because once you were 18, it was the scumbags that went to the local nightclubs that would go. And it was basically a precursor to what type of person you're going to be. And you would see all the girls in class that would act so classy, that would act so likable. And then they are grinding outfits that were so sexy. And, of course, it was normal to say that at the time because you're their age. But now looking back, you're like, wow, their dad must be so proud. All right, I have so much to get into today. But I was sitting here at the Cox Media Building where I record the show, and it was pretty funny. I was eating my salad. Shout out to West Shore Pizza on 54th Avenue. It was really delicious. I'm eating my antipasto salad. I get it every day when I work. I love it. And they have on in the main room Bay News 9. And I like coming here before my show because it's a very empty building, or it is empty, which it doesn't bother me when people are here. But it's a very different vibe when no one's at the building, and it's just me, my salad, and the news. And I saw this news clip, and it's about kids going back to school, it being the end of the summer. And before I get to the clip, it really is weird to think that it's August 25th, and summer is about to end. Like, to me, summer's never going to end because it's never going to be negative 20 here in Tampa. I'm not going to have gloomy, cloudy days every single day. The coldest it'll be here is 30, and that's tropical in Illinois. So it doesn't feel like the summer's over with. But it was very strange, very interesting to see kids going back to school. And you're like, Jesus, that was me a decade ago. Where did the time go? So it was very strange to see. And now, let's go back a second. Let's go back, however old you are, to when you were in elementary school or even middle school. High school doesn't count. And you have that first day of class, and you're so bored. They pass out the workbooks, this and that. And you were told in class, even though you did it, that you weren't allowed to draw on the desk. But you did it anyway, and you thought you were so funny, or you put that gum underneath the desk, and you thought you were so entertaining. I saw this news headline where kids are now allowed to draw on the desk for creative purposes. It's ridiculous. Here's what they do. They have this new desk that's electronic, right? And they have the kids draw their artistic feelings. And they have them draw what's going on in their mind on the table. And then they scan it with their iPad. What's going on? What happened to having a journal or having nap time or just learning things? I know it's the first day, but it seems kind of stupid that these kids are privileged to have iPads. I know you're going to say, well, Ryan, every generation has their thing. The 80s and 90s kids had the TV on the big set that would go into the lunchroom during rainy days. And then the kids in the 2000s had like Apple computers, the big ones. Like, I get that every single generation has their thing that they have at school, good technology. But there's a difference between kids from the 2000s playing with kid picks and the best game being Oregon Trail. Remember that game? Man, I love that game. The best game on the computer being Oregon Trail or Pajama Sam or Spy Fox. I know I'm sounding old, like, oh, these kids these days, but this is idiocracy. When a lesson in class is, hey, draw on a desk and let's see what you come up with. Ridiculous. Like, it shows that you need to be dependent on technology. Like, really? Like, I keep saying this and no one listens to me because I'm just the outspoken podcaster originally from Chicago, now babbling in Tampa Bay. When I say, if there's some type of outage where all the electronics just go out, what are we going to do? I don't know how to read a map. I don't know how to do normal things without the computer. I'm not good at math. I need a calculator. These kids are going to be so goddamn dependent on technology that if something happened, they're going to be screwed. And think about this too. This happened in my high school right after I graduated. They let the kids write their essays on iPads that they would give for the year. They let them do their math, this and that on the iPads. And what I found funny is so many kids got caught dealing weed on there. Like, you guys are idiots. Do you really think you can deal weed or send sex and the school isn't going to look at the sex and the dealing? But that's a side note. Here is my point. We are becoming way too dependent on things like the iPad and all these notebooks, and we're getting away from the lessons. Kids are never going to know anything if it isn't for technology. If kids keep relying on technology, we are going to go nowhere because it's the easy way out. Sorry. What's 5 times 5? It's 25. Like, we're becoming so dependent on it that it's scary. So when I saw this news clip that they're going to begin having lessons on the iPad, that made me scared for America. Maybe it's just me. Maybe it's just me ranting and being outspoken, the outspoken Hoppy. But I'm just saying, the fact that they are doing lessons on the iPad and we are relying on it so much, this is a bad sign because that means we're relying on technology and we don't have our own skills, essentially. God damn it.
Next on Hoppe Hour.
I have this interesting headline to read to you. I'm not going to read it, but I will describe it before I go to break. We all know sports has the role models that you can look up to, like Kurt Warner, Stephen Curry, this and that. But we all know, especially in the NFL, because it gets the most spotlight, there are a lot of, I wouldn't say thugs, but a lot of interesting characters that get themselves into situations. And with all the new recruits coming in every single year from college, all the draft picks, it's getting harder and harder for them to get away with things because of social media, this and that. Like with the NBA drafts, we saw a bunch of players saying, Kobe lost in the playoffs, and then they end up getting drafted. So my point is, social media is coming back to bite people in the ass. Acting out at a nightclub is coming back to bite them in the ass. So you would think that at these conventions where these rookies sit and they learn about the NFL and how to live the life, you would think that a certain Hall of Fame player would give them good advice. You would think he would be able to read their faces and put them straight. But no, he gave the most asinine, the most moronic, and the most stupid advice I've ever heard. And we will get to that and more after this on Hoppe Hour.
Hoppe Hour. Hoppe Hour.
Ryan Stuppridge and Ryan Risky host the Ryan and Ryan Power Hour, Fridays from 12 to 2 p.m. on SportsTownChicago.com. We're saving the universe with our sports talk. Cubs, Sox, Bulls, Bears, Blackhawks, DePaul Blue Demons? Yes, it's all right here on Ryan and Ryan. If it's not impossible for you, listen to the Ryan and Ryan Power Hour every Friday from 12 to 2 p.m. on SportsTownChicago.com.
He's for every one of us. Stand for every one of us. He's saving the body and every man, every time, every flash.
Hi, this is Ryan Stuppridge, one of the hosts of the Sports Renegades, Thursdays from 6 to 8 p.m. on SportsTownChicago.com. On the Sports Renegades, Ryan Risky and I will discuss all the hot sports topics and all your favorite Chicago sports. Chicago baseball is back and better than ever, so look no further than the Sports Renegades to get your Cubs and White Sox fix. We're also discussing the Chicago Blackhawks as they try to chase down their third Stanley Cup in 6 years. Ryan Stuppridge and Ryan Risky bring you all the best on the Sports Renegades, Thursdays, 6 to 8 p.m. on SportsTownChicago.com.
Hey, it's Justin from the Justin Scott and Spiegel Morning Show on 98 Rock in Baltimore, and you're listening to Hoppe Radio.
It's time to turn Hoppe on.
Oh yeah, you like my choice for a throwback? Remember this song by Paul Wall, taking you back to 2006? I love this beat. This was my jam back in the day when I was in 6th grade and I didn't really get along with anybody, and this song always put me in a good mood. I don't know how to describe it, but like, what happened to rap music? Like, I know it's never been like the best music, and it went from like being silly to being gangsta in the 90s, and then it was about getting crunk. And I know I used the word turned up a lot, but I liked rap about getting crunk any day over turned up because they sound like this and they're talking about Molly and hoes. It's like, shut up. So yeah, I'm a big fan of this beat. I saw this headline on the Huffington Post, and it was one of those things where you cringe because you cannot believe how idiotic, how stupid, how much of a dimwit this athlete is for giving this advice. And the fact that he apologized just showed that he was put in a corner, because you don't say this in front of all the rookies and then say you're sorry. You truly believe this, especially with the colorful past you have. And I am talking about Chris Carter. Here is the headline. Chris Carter apologizes for advising NFL rookies to have a fall guy. No. He wasn't saying save up your money, you might tear your ACL and you're going to need it to pay the baby mama. He's not saying buy a lifetime supply of condoms and make sure who you sleep with. Some of the advice they have gotten in the past is real. No. This dim-witted dumbass, told them to find a fall guy. And here's the quote. Just in case y'all not going to decide to do the right thing, you got to have a fall guy in the crew. What are you talking about? This is the same league where you have wife beaters. You've had people accused and who have murdered people. You have DUIs, it seems, every month. You have shoving. You have showboating with dances. This league needs to have young, humble players for the future. They don't need some guy who's had a colorful past like Chris Carter saying to have a fall guy, because that encourages them that they can get away with anything as long as they have someone to use as the scapegoat. So shame on Chris Carter for even saying this. It would be one thing if he was at a party and there was a secret video of him saying that. Then maybe he's drunk and he doesn't know what he's saying. But what he said last year to these players, I can't even believe. I'm actually surprised ESPN didn't fire him. Good for them for not firing him and standing by their employers. I'm just saying, this is so moronic. And I was debating about playing the audio. It's 5 minutes and 45 seconds, and I didn't feel like losing brain cells playing all 6 minutes trying to find clips for the air. I'll just rant for you. It says here, NFL Hall of Famer Chris Carter has apologized for comments he made a year ago at the 2014 Rookie Symposium, where he advised players to designate a fall guy in the event they may get in trouble. And it says here, Carter's comments, although a year old, resurfaced in an ESPN profile of former 49er star Chris Borland. Borland, a rookie who retired from football due to concussion concerns, recalled his discomfort when hearing a veteran offering questionable advice. Here's what I don't get. Why is this coming out now? I'm not saying this is a case of fake outrage because I'm outraged. I can't believe he would say this, and he said this in 2014 during the whole Ray Rice debacle when he was beating up women, his wife in an elevator. He was saying this last year, and that was when everything was going down with Ray Rice. Are you kidding me, Chris Carter? And I'm just confused how this is coming out now. I would think the word of mouth would go around real fast. Is it one of those things where whatever is said in that room stays in that room, and now Chris Borland's just angry? He's just going to go around saying it. I'm not saying he's a snitch, but there's some reason why he said it, because no one else said it, and it's been in that room for a year at the Rookie Symposium. All right, here is what Chris Borland said. Get yourself a fall guy, Borland says. One of the former players advised. The former player, who Borland declined to name, told the rookies that if they ran into legal trouble, their designated fall guy would be there to take the blame, and if necessary, go to jail. We'll bail him out, says one of the former players. Borland was appalled, he said. I was just sitting there thinking, should I walk out? What am I supposed to do? He said he didn't want to leave the room because he didn't want to cause a scene, but the incident stayed with him. Here's my thing. I'm not saying you're a snitch, but why are you waiting till now? Oh, it's because you're a former player. You have no reason to be scared to burn any bridges. You're not going to play in the NFL anymore. But at that point, he thought he was going to keep playing in the NFL. He thought he was going to make it for a long time. So, of course, he's not going to walk out and make a scene. So anybody who says that Chris Borland is this superhero for bringing this up now, he would have been better. He would have had more guts and more respect for me if he said it to the public back then. You could have been this advocate. But I'm just so confused why this is coming out now. It almost doesn't matter. Who cares? Man, like, you waited a year to say it. A year. I don't get why he's saying this now. It's confusing. Like, are you that uncomfortable and annoyed as you were a year ago? I'm pretty sure it's not as fresh since it's been 365 days, and I'm sure the feelings are going away. So you're just saying this to get attention or something, because if it really outraged you and you were so offended, you would have stood up and called him out during Q&A. But no. You just let Chris Carter run his mouth because you didn't want to be the fall guy on the team who gets waived. Get what I did there? Borland did not specifically, of course, name Carter in the ESPN interview, and he didn't have to. The internet quickly found the video, which was uploaded by the NFL and since taken down. I love how the NFL is even cool with this. Man, is that league run by a bunch of buffoons. I wish they would quit acting like they're a family league, this and that. And then they keep up a video of this where this moron Chris Carter is giving them awful advice, and the only reason they deleted it is because they got caught. It's sort of like a guy who cheats on his wife, like let's say Josh Duggar from 17 Kids and Counting, or whatever that show's called on TLC, and how he got caught cheating on his wife on Ashley Madison, and the only reason he admitted to it was because he got caught. That's the same thing with the NFL. The only reason they took it down is because of Chris Borland, and people online were able to find it because they have no time on their hands. So the NFL really doesn't care. This didn't affect them. They're just trying to cover their ass. And Chris Carter, of course, went to social media. He, of course, went to Twitter and said how sorry he was, even though it's been a year. And if he was sorry, he would have said it a month after the incident, or even 6 months. But of course, he says he's sorry. after this comes out. Oh, yeah, here's what he said. Here's his tweet, end quote. Seeing that video has made me realize how wrong I was. I was brought there to educate young people, and instead I gave them very bad advice. Every person should take responsibility for his own actions. And I truly regret what I said that day. You're an analyst on ESPN. After that, you went about your life for a whole year, and you acted as that never happened and if that was never bad. Like I said, the only reason you are saying sorry is because you're put in a corner. You truly believe that. And you truly thought that was the way to educate them. So don't back up now and say, oh yeah, I gave them the wrong advice, I'm sorry. It's not like this is a day later. Like if this happened this week, then maybe I could believe him saying sorry because maybe it was a slip of words. But the fact that you said this a year ago and now you're just moving on, but now that you got caught, now you're saying you're sorry, dude, you're just full of BS. My God, I'm not saying that this is a case of someone and their fake outrage, because I'm outraged that someone as respectable and as good of an athlete as Chris Carter would say this. But at the same time, it's like, dude, it's been a year. Don't even say you're sorry, because you're not, dude. Stop.
Next on Hoppe Hour.
We have so much to get into. Paul Haggis, who is the director of $1 Million Baby and Crash, which both came out in 2004, and he really hasn't done as much since then. He has always been an advocate of hating on Scientology, and he has some words to say about that and Tom Cruise. After this, on Hoppe Hour. Hang on.
Hoppe Hour. Hoppe Hour.
The Sports Renegades with hosts Ryan Stuppridge and Ryan Risky every Thursday from 6 to 8 p.m. on SportsTownChicago.com. We'll give you the scoop on all your Chicago sports teams as well as all the national news going on. So for the best sports talk around, look no further than the Sports Renegades with hosts Ryan Stuppridge and Ryan Risky every Thursday, 6 to 8 p.m. on SportsTownChicago.com. Hi, this is Ryan Stuppridge, one of the hosts of the Sports Renegades, Thursdays from 6 to 8 p.m. on SportsTownChicago.com. On the Sports Renegades, Ryan Risky and I will discuss all the hot sports topics and all your favorite Chicago sports. Chicago baseball is back and better than ever, so look no further than the Sports Renegades to get your Cubs and White Sox fix. We're also discussing the Chicago Blackhawks as they try to chase down their third Stanley Cup in 6 years. Ryan Stuppridge and Ryan Risky bring you all the best on the Sports Renegades, Thursdays, 6 to 8 p.m. on SportsTownChicago.com. He hates the Kardashians and Dwight Howard, but he doesn't hate me. You're listening to Hoppe Hour.
There is something about this beat that just kind of chills you out. Like it makes you want to go to a beach with this hot girl, open up a few things of beer, crack open a few beers, and just appreciate life around a nice fire, you know, get some wood and just burn some fire. That's what this song makes me want to do. And also, I hope it makes you want to tweet at me right now at Ryan Hoppe Radio. Let me know what you think about my Chris Carter rant and what you thought about my rant that I began the show with when I said that kids should not be relying on technology when it comes to learning in elementary school and middle school, now in 2014. But frankly, I don't think there's a way to prevent it. So we're basically screwed and kids will become entitled. Whatever. All right. This next headline intrigues me. I never heard of the guy, Paul Haggis. I actually had to look up YouTube videos to make sure I would say his name right. But he is the director of Crash and $1 Million Baby, which are two movies I know are good, but I've never seen them, but I'll definitely put them on my list. I have a long list of things to watch. TV shows, movies. I'm very behind. But first, this is the best part of the song. The singing is unreal.
It's too late, babe.
God, I love that song. All right. So Paul Haggis, the director of Crash and $1 Million Baby, he is criticizing journalists for not asking Tom Cruise about Scientology. And now, here's what he said. You're just a PR person at this point. Shame on you. And I agree. But here's my thing. Why is Tom Cruise so scared to talk about Scientology? It's your religion, man. You've been up there with medals around your neck doing speeches. You're such an advocate for it. You say that people shouldn't take meds. You're a very outspoken and very interesting person. So why would you shy away from Scientology, Tom? You have nothing to hide because it's a religion, right? It's so respectable. Father, Son, Holy Scientology, right?
Shut up!
There is something very sneaky and something very strange about Tom not letting the media ask him questions. Maybe it's because it's a cult and he knows that they could ask really deep questions that could put it in the corner and he would have no answer for it. So I am glad that Paul Haggis, if this is a ploy to get attention, which it worked, I like that he called out Tom Cruise because everyone just kind of lets it slide, this and that. And I'm not hating on Tom Cruise. I loved Mission Impossible. Believe it or not, that was the first Tom Cruise movie I have ever seen. It's the first one to see, and it was pretty damn good. All right, here is the news clip about Paul Haggis and his outrage towards Tom Cruise. First of all, I can't imagine being that famous, you know, when you walk out on the red carpet and you're overwhelmed and you got your nice cologne on and you're in your nice suit, and immediately this is what you hear. Hey, Tom, can I ask you this? Hey, Tom, can I ask you that? Hey, Tom, how's Katie? Hey, Tom, how's Surrey? Can you imagine being that famous where everywhere you walk 24/7, people want selfies, people want pictures with you, people want autographs, people want to bang you, people want to kill you? Can you imagine? Like you want to go to Starbucks and get a nice cappuccino and you just want to go and you have to dress up anonymously because if not, you will hear this. That was just a side note. I can't imagine being famous. I'm not saying they have a hard life, but trust me, it must get old. All right, back to the clip on Paul Haggis as he blasted the media over their non-coverage of Scientology during Tom Cruise's media tour for Mission Impossible Rogue Nation. All right, here's the clip.
There was a time when Paul Haggis was considered the hottest filmmaker in Hollywood. The 1-2 punch of $1 Million Baby and Crash.
Yeah, he was a really popular director 11 years ago, and then he did some screenwriting for the James Bond movies, but that's fine. I mean, that's okay. But it seems like he was that one hit. He was that one-hit wonder when it came to those two movies, but that was it. And now he's just famous for being an atheist who joined the Scientology, but then later denounced it as a cult and then left it. So, like, dude, shouldn't you be working on trying to get back in the film industry? I'm glad you called them out. That's fine. It's great. But at the same time, it's like, this seems like a ploy to get on the media circus and to go on this show and that show. I just find it kind of weird that he's doing it now. Like, Mission Impossible came out, 7 weeks ago? He didn't say this the opening weekend when it was #1. He's saying it at the end of the summer during the dog days of August, on August 25th, which is the day that this is being recorded. I'm just saying, I think he waited too long, and now he's like, oh, yeah, I meant to do it. I was on vacation for 3 months. Now I can call out Tom Cruise. Although I agree with what he's doing and what he's saying, it just kind of comes off a little bit tacky since you're a bit late to the party, bro.
Gave the mild-mannered Canadian the distinction of being the only person to have penned consecutive Best Picture Oscar winners. Since then, the 62-year-old has become one of the world's most prominent anti-Scientology crusaders, having defected from the controversial church after 35 years.
You know your career is in the dumps when you spend your life crusading against an awful cult. You know he's having a hard time finding work when you went from winning Oscars for great movies like Crash and $1 Million Baby. You were at the top of the game in Hollywood, and now you're just this guy who's calling out Tom Cruise 7 weeks after the movie came out because of the media's questions they asked him. Like, that's how far you've fallen, bro. You're trying to take down Scientology. Who cares? It's a weird religion. When I visited my uncle in Los Angeles, it was weird when we drove by some of these like tents that they have set up outside of some of the souvenir shops on Hollywood Boulevard. They're like, and they have like these like sheets of paper. They're like, welcome to Scientology. Please join. And you're just like, can I help you? Welcome to Scientology. Please join. And they're so weird. They're like, do you need inspiration in your life? Do you want to feel better? Are you under stress? And then you're like, yeah. And they're like, well, the Church of Scientology. And then you just walk away like, Jesus Christ. Yes, that's what you're spending your life ripping on. These weirdos. Who cares, Paul?
And detailed the cycle of abuse suffered by him and his family in an eye-opening feature in The New Yorker. The Daily Beast interviewed Haggis and asked what he thought about media outlets.
Before I let you guys hear the clip with his statement, that is such a scumbag, quote-unquote, religion that they harass you if you want to leave. My uncle said back in the 80s when he first moved to Los Angeles, his roommate just sort of signed up for the religion on one weekend that he was born. And then he called and he's like, yeah, I'm going to go back to being atheist. Thanks for the tour. Thanks for the mass or whatever they do. But I don't want to be a Scientologist anymore. And until the day that my uncle moved out, they kept harassing him and bothering him with mail about, please come back to our church, quote unquote. It's sort of like, from what I've heard, when you buy porn off of like porn websites and you buy lingerie and kinky sex toys, they keep sending you ads after you buy it once. Like, Scientology is as respectable as a dildo shop. I'm just saying.
Not discussing Scientology with Tom Cruise. Haggis said his PR people are very smart, but I don't know how journalists can continue to call themselves journalists if they aren't brave enough to ask a question.
That is a good point. Like, what do you have to lose? Have some integrity. Have some guts. If you ask him a great question and he hides in the corner, that makes you look like the mighty reporter, and it makes Tom Cruise look like the wimp. But no, you have to ask, what's it like doing the stunts while the stunt double helps you out? What was it like working with Jeremy Renner? Blah, 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 blah. Really? What was it like? How does it compare to the other movies? The questions they ask these celebrities are so mind-numbingly dumb. Good for Paul Haggis calling them out. I just find the timing being really weird because this isn't making national headlines. I just saw this on the Huffington Post. If he really wanted to make a stance against Scientology, he should have done this when the movie came out. I don't know why he waited until August 25th, 2015, when the movie's going to be coming out on DVD pretty soon. I'm just saying. All right, back to the clip.
I mean, how big does the elephant in the room have to be before you ask about it?
That is a good point. You know, everybody, when they're interviewing him, they get chills. They're like, oh my God, Tom Cruise is in front of me. Oh my God, he's the one that bangs Katie Holmes. Like, you know, all the people that are interviewing Tom are getting very giddy around him. Like, oh my God, Tom Cruise is in front of me. But come on, at some point, don't be like every other vanilla interviewer that just asks these vanilla, boring questions. Come on, at some point, be the outspoken one. Somebody will want to use you when you keep asking these questions that put them in a corner. But no, you got to go with the script. So what was it like working with Jeremy Renner? How did the movie go? What do you expect from the weekend? How much support have the fans given you? Yuck.
Shut up!
I mean, seriously. Come on now. You hear that classy music that makes you want to sit around a fire and just relax with your girl. Maybe it makes you want to go to a top-notch restaurant, get some steak, get the most expensive wine, and just go on this nice hot date with your girl while she's wearing this great dress. Because that's what this music reminds me of. And it also means that Happy Hour is about to come to a close. But first, vote for Happy Hour as the best local podcast in the Tampa Bay area by the Creative Loafing. It's not hard. Go to tinyurl.com/vote happy hour. That is tinyurl.com/vote happy hour. And click best local podcast. While you are there, it's not hard. Also, download my app, Hoppe Radio, in the iOS shop. And if you have an Android device, it's not hard. Spreaker or TuneIn and search up Hoppe Radio. I have updated my badass websites, so check them out. It's hopperadio.com, hoppysreal.com. Woo! Also, tweet at me during the week, and if you are cool, I will add you back. And as long as your pick isn't an egg, I will add you back. It's at Ryan Hoppe Radio. Also, email me if you want to be a sponsor or you have some ideas for the show or you want to collaborate on some things. It's Ryan at hopperadio.com. All right, enough of the plug. Got my sheet here with all the plugs. It's called Theater of the Mind. This has been Happy Hour. I am your host, Ryan Hoppe, saying peace out.
Happy Hour.
This is an official broadcast of Hoppe Radio. For more info, check out hopperadio.com and hoppysworld.com.
Well, not off to a great start today, but who knows what surprises the big city holds.
Hey, you smashed my porch! That is a fine, expensive porch! Pay me! Hey, pay me, yuppie man! Hey, I'm talking to you!
Ooh, crazy world, huh? Well, don't let it get you down, son. Penis.